Let's talk about this. There are 5,520 board seats at 98 Fortune 500 companies, and only 96 are being held by Asians. Let us talk about that today on the show. Of course, we know that Kababayan LA helps to empower us Kababayans, but on a larger scale, Asian Americans. Giancarlo Pacheco is a board member of LEAP, Leadership Education for Asian Pacifics Inc. Hello and welcome to Kababayan LA.
Thank you, thanks for having me.
Yes, let us talk about these alarming numbers. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think there's multiple factors. I think one is education. A lot of corporations aren't necessarily familiar with having Asian Pacific Americans on their boards, and one is that they're also where their location is, because a lot of the locations of these corporate Fortune 500 companies are not necessarily where a lot of Asian Pacifics are.
Say, for example, California, not a lot are here.
That's
where
correct.
are they?
Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Minnesota is one, and the population there is actually a lot lower than what you would expect, like compared to California.
Right. Of course, when we say this, in 2010, 96 Asian Pacific Islanders held 115 board seats at 98 Fortune 500 companies. If we look at on the screen now, we have some statistics for you. Can you discuss briefly each one, Giancarlo?
Sure. Well, and like we were talking, it has to do with actually available. You know? So that could be one to do. But leave and get their Pacific America to
This was conducted, and these what do we show? You know, Filipino parents always push their kids to be in the healthcare industry. Sure. What should we be doing then? What should our focus be on?
Well, I think you have to, as parents, if you're going to speak on parents, you have to support your kids. So one thing is you have to look within. You know, a lot of the times we're looking for stability, speaking Filipino, and that's why we push our kids to go into the health industry. Now, there are so many opportunities for Asian Pacifics in these corporations, but first is like you have to have that internal want to be there.
How do you establish want? I mean, people grow up wanting to be a nurse, wanting to be a doctor because they see their parents and they hear their parents talk about that a lot. How do you establish want for people to really excel in corporations?
Sure. A lot of it has to do with role models. So that's why LEAP is important. LEAP actually helps people that are already in corporation, APIs, for example, and helps them want to strive to become leaders. And then younger individuals will see this. Just like for me, for example, I've seen other Asian APIs in communities or in organizations that I've been involved in, and I've wanted to follow in their footsteps. So as a Filipino, I also felt it was very important that I actually would strive to represent the community itself.
Right. The problem is we have a breakdown here, ethnic breakdown of these API directors. Chinese, 37, Asian Indian, 34, and all the others, Filipino, only 1.
That's correct.
Who is this person? What does she do?
Well, her name is Marissa Peterson, and she is on the board of Humana, which, again, it's a health company.
Right. We different Filipinos working. People still talk glass ceiling.
I one and what they want to do.
Okay.
So first it's within.
It's really something within. Okay.
Yeah, within them, but also understanding what the corporate structure is and understanding how to navigate that.
Right.
So, you know, making sure that you're speaking to the right people. It's also being visible.
And also being a little bit more aggressive,
That's
right?
Correct.
And that goes against what we are accustomed to as Filipinos.
Absolutely.
Right.
So I think that there's a dual consciousness, especially when you come here to the United States. One is being kind of subservient, you know, and I think with being Filipino, you know, we've been...
because we confuse being respectful with being subservient, and that should be for another show. We can talk a whole 30 minutes about that, but for now, Giancarlo, you provide skills and seminars and trainings at LEAP.
Absolutely.
Okay, and where can we get more information?
Sure, you can just go to LEAP leap.org. So something that we just released, which I'd like to share, is we are doing an e-learning series, and this is something that's really good for corporations to get really aware of the API community, as well as APIs getting familiar with taking on a leadership role.
Right. Thank you so much, and more power to you, more power to Leap. That's the website on the screen if you want more information, and we'll definitely be talking about this more as the days go on here on Kababayan LA. Thank you.
Thank you.
Magbabalik pa po ang Kababayan LA. Don't go away.
Ang Kababayan LA ay hatid sa inyo ng McDonald's at ang mga bagong McCafe Espresso drinks. McDonald's na ba ang inyong bagong coffee house? Ang mga bagong McCafe Espresso drinks ay mabilis, masarap at mas mura pa. Kahit saan, kahit kailan.